Welcome in, watchers and listeners, to Sport Talk with Dwat. If you would please like, share, and subscribe on YouTube, and you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Also, check us out on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And with that being said, let's get this show on the road.
All right, welcome to episode 58 of Sport Talk with Dwat. I am Dwat. I'm here with Randy. We'll talk about some fishing, but we're going to talk about some fishing, some lures, some frogs, some of the weather we had down there this past weekend. That being said, let's bring them on in. What's going on, Randy?
What's going on, Dwat?
Oh man, it's a nice Monday evening here in Chattanooga, Tennessee. We got a big show planned as we're gonna cover a lot of fishing. That's why I got you on here. We had a great weekend together, and now we're gonna get in.
We had a good weekend.
Oh, it was great. We're gonna talk about it. That being said, we'll jump on into it. So you went fishing on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So let's hear about it, Randy.
Thursday I started out. I took off work Thursday, so we went down Wednesday night, and I started fishing. Thought I'd go out there Thursday morning and see if I could find a little bit of fish to put you and Katie on. And I had a good morning. I did have a good morning. I caught 4 fish. That one 5. I think everybody's seen picture I posted, 555, 557. Mm-hmm. That was a good fish. Well, yeah, I mean, I caught them all on the way I love catching them. And that's what I love doing, is throwing a top water bait, frog, or pop, a little zoo pop. What I had Katie throwing, one of the two. And I mean, it just, Thursday was great. And then Friday, when y'all come down, we caught some fish that day. Mm-hmm. I mean, and till it gets hot. And then when it gets hot, I mean, a little younger, I could stand that heat, but boy, it got warmed out there, which I guess we got off the water at the right time because that storm came through.
Right. So we came down there, and we got started about 7:30, give or take, there Friday. So that, it felt good that, that morning. It wasn't that busy out there. Randy, it really wasn't that bad. I thought it'd be busy with, with the holiday weekend and whatnot. So we'll kind of jump into that. First time, and I guess I would have thought it would have been packed with boats and whatnot, but really it wasn't that bad. And just all in all, it was a great weekend to fish.
Yeah, and everybody's like, you going fishing on the 4th of July weekend? There's going to be all kinds of boats. But I'll say this about Lake Guntersville, where I fish at a lot. It's a bigger lake, but not only that, you don't have as many, like if you went to Chickamauga is really bad. You have a lot of them big pleasure boats and big yachts and stuff. And whenever they start going out there, it makes that water like an ocean. I mean, it gets rough, but it wasn't that bad. Chickamauga, I mean, Guntersville, you'll see a few of them out, and you'll see the pontoon boats out and the ski boats out, but it's so open where we're at. You got plenty of room, and the way I've been fishing, where I found the fish was kind of out on the river, so you don't have to deal with it as much out there as if you went into the back of the sloughs and fish.
Yeah, that's very true. I wasn't sure if they'd be out in the deep water or in the grassy area, and we found them for sure, and that was a really cool experience. So I got down there, got to the campsite down there, and it's a very nice shady area that you have for your camper there parked. Man, it's got a nice deck, got the shade, got the dock real close by, so all that was super nice there, Randy.
Yeah, that's why we like it down there, because we got that deck. I can back the camper right up to there. There's shade trees on both. Well, there's shades on that one side where the deck is. I mean, 9 times out of 10, we don't even pull our awning out. A lot of people pull their awning out for shade. We'll pull it out sometimes, but we don't have to because we got enough shade around there. You don't have to. And I mean, it's just where we got our camper sitting there right now. It's just a perfect. I mean, it's cool. I mean, it gets warm. Alabama is, you get the humidity down here and it gets hot, but you got a little bit of shade, and then when the breeze flows through there at the right time, it feels pretty good.
Right, absolutely. So we got down there Friday, we did some fishing that morning and whatnot, and then we which that was the morning that we caught the most fish for you. You really had some good big fish there that you caught, and it turned out really good. That was before the rain in the front moved in there.
Yeah.
And so let's talk about the fronts here. So that should help the fish want to bite the bait more, it seems like.
Yeah, I've noticed it's better to catch a fish. And I mean, I didn't even know it was going to do that. I thought it was going to be sunny all day, but it's if you can catch it before the front, something about the pressure of the and everything that makes the fish bite better. I've noticed that out of the, let's see, 40 plus years I've been fishing. I mean, I'm in my mid 50s, and I've been fishing since I'm about 10 years old. And I've noticed that because I'll never forget one time, me and my dad, we was fishing. I was still in high school. I think I was a freshman in high school. So that when I was 16, and he took off work it was spring break. He took off work, and we come down here to Nickajack. We lived up in Cleveland, Tennessee, so he wanted to come down and fish Nickajack. And I mean, that morning, I bet you we caught 40, 50 fish. We was catching, and I mean, he had my dad caught a 6. I caught a couple of 4s. I mean, he come home and he told my best friend's dad, he said, come with us tomorrow and I'll put you on some fish. Well, that next morning we wake up, wind starts blowing. It turned probably 30 degrees difference in the cold, and it kind of had a little bit of rain that morning. And everywhere we fished, there was no fish, no bites. And my dad said, you know what that is? We caught them right before that front. And that's what happened. And that's kind of what happened with us. I think Friday and Thursday, I done pretty good Thursday out there. And I mean, what I found is we was fishing out on a grass bar. It's called a river bar, but it's got some grass and it's right next to the river channel. So what I like about it, the fish, they come up and feed on that flat bar, and it's got that grass. They'll come up and feed, and once they get done feeding, they got that route right there where they can go out there to the deeper water and cool off and do that. So I've always caught some fish right there, and that's why first place I stopped whenever Thursday morning was right there, and I thought when I caught that 1.5 and I had another blow up, I just left. I thought I'm gonna leave these fish alone for y'all because I wanted y'all. I knew if you could ever get a blow up and catch one on top water, it's just something about it. It's just addictive. It's very addictive.
Oh yeah, it's very addictive, very cool, and it'll catch your eye, and
it catches your eye, and your heart starts pumping.
Oh yeah, it gets your heart going for sure. It's definitely exciting. Very, very cool, and so that day was very good for us that morning. So we came back to the camper, took it easy. Your wife makes some really good food. We had the hamburgers, we had the hot dog, we had the sides, the chips. I mean, you name it. So Tammy, you tuned into the show. You did a great job. Thank you again for the food. It was amazing. So we had some food that evening. We went back out that Friday night. It was raining all around that area, but not where you are, Randy. And it worked out really good.
We're kind of in a hole, ain't we?
Yeah, in a hole, and it was raining all around, but it didn't affect us. Got some there towards the end, but it wasn't anything major. Just a few little sprinkles that we had, and it kind of felt good, honestly. So that worked out good on that.
And see, that evening, we went out there, and wasn't it that evening whenever we pulled up out of that spot? Somebody you could see them down the lake, maybe 100 yards or so. Ain't that evening? Somebody was already fishing there. I said, I bet you they've already fished this hole, and they probably already kind of maybe they've seen everything. So we didn't really get nothing, and we went back up in that creek under the bridge there, and I picked up a plastic worm. And you remember I caught that rest. What was it we caught that night? 3 or 4 on that plastic worm.
Yeah, you were hitting it hard there on the plastic worm. You caught a couple there, and it's always good to kind of get it changed up a little bit and try something different. And you were definitely getting them on that. So that was always really good to see there. So that was the night there, and then the next day we went back out in the morning again, probably about the same time, some of the same spots, and then we went on down that morning. Went on down the river a little bit, tried something different. it just kind of goes to show that they are close by, but also, you don't have to go as far to find the fish. They were close by. So we tried something farther down. It worked out good. You caught one down there. So that was kind of cool to see, that area.
Yeah. Where we went Saturday morning. Yeah, it was Saturday morning. Well, we went down there Saturday morning. They usually there, but I don't know. I think we're just too far. I think they're more closer on to the riverside where they can get. I looked at my app and they wasn't pulling that much water, and I think that had a lot to do with it. And that's why, if you notice, the one I caught was kind of out in the middle of that between that slip where we was at, and then what they was probably doing is floating out there trying to get some current and stuff. And when the current comes through there and the wind was blowing a little bit, it's blowing some bait down through there, and they just sucking that bait in while that's what I think they was doing while I caught that one out there. And I think we had a couple more little blow ups right up down through there, but it just wasn't as good as it was the other morning.
Right. And then we made a little pit stop there in the afternoon, went down to the tackle shop, went down to the Scottsboro Tackle Company. That was a really cool place. First time we going in there. I've been wanting to go for a while there, Randy. So it was really cool to get. So I got my hat, and that was really cool. Find you got some line and some other stuff. So that was always.
Yeah, I went in there to try to get us some more white frogs because it seemed like they was hitting that popping frog, the one with the lip that pops more than you got two different type of frog. Well, you got three different type of frogs. You got a popping frog. You got a what they call just a regular walking frog, walk the dog frog, what you kind of twitch and it make it move from left to right. Then you have a flapping frog, the one, I had one of them tied on too. They didn't seem like they wanted it, where you just reel it and the back of the legs move. But they wanted that popping, and I think what it was just a hesitation popping. You stop it and pop it, stop it and pop it. And I think that's what they wanted. What it seemed like for us.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like to me, and so that's what I was trying, and it was really, it was working, and that's what they were wanting, and they would pop it, but at times they would either go past it or they'd just kind of flap their fins at it, like they were just going to mess with it, and I'm just thinking to myself, man, just take it if you want it, take it, don't just flap at it.
I think sometimes it comes up there, and I think whenever they see it pop, they'll come up there. It all depends on what type of mood. If they're real hungry, they'll probably get it, but if they're not that hungry, they're just going to kind of pop at it to see what it does. And if you yank it too hard, they know what it is. And it's that one time I popped it and one hit it and I just left it there and he come back and got it. And that's when I think sometimes when we yank the hook too fast, they see that's just something that's fake. But if you kind of keep it going and leave it sitting there, sometimes they'll come back and get it. And that's what happened. And what we threw was that, like I said, we was throwing that frog, and I had Katie on that little, it's called a pop R, but it's called a zoo pop. And it's made just like a frog. And what I found out down at Guntersville now, Chickamauga and Nickajack's getting kind of like Guntersville is getting that eelgrass, but that little floating stringy grass, if you throw anything with treble hooks, like big hooks, it stays hung up all the time. But them frogs in that zoo pop, it's got the hooks up in the bait, and it don't hang up like that. And that's why, I was watching on, which I've always thrown frog, but they showed me, I was watching last year, I started throwing that zoo pop, and I started catching a lot of fish, and he was telling, that guy was, one of the guys I watch on YouTube, that's what he was wearing them out on. And he still, I watched him the other day, he's still wearing them out on that.
So then on Saturday was the day that I was going to head home, but we're having a really good time, and we fished that morning, and so then we decided to stick around, get a hotel again for the next night, because I heard a rumor that there were going to be some pork chops involved there for the dinner. So I've been hearing these are some world famous pork chops at work, because I've seen them at work, and I didn't get my hands on them yet. So that was a really good chance for us to stay longer. And we had a great time, my wife and I, and had the chance to stay. And we said, heck, we're going to stay one a little bit longer. We're going to get another hotel night. So we went back to Scottsburg, got the room, had the pork chops, went fishing again that night. I didn't feel like it, even that night, it wasn't that busy. Saturday night
No,
with
Saturday
4th of
night.
July.
Wasn't
Wasn't
that
that
4th of
bad.
July? It wasn't that bad out there. Now, everybody was, when we come in, that was the night I had to load the boat up. Only reason I loaded, on my batteries, my trolling motor batteries was good and charged, but the two batteries that run, I only got one battery that runs my electronics, and it runs all three electronics, and it was pretty dead. And I thought, if we fish tomorrow, I'm gonna have to have some batteries. And I mean, that's when we come in, and I'm like, Lord mercy. Everybody was at that boat ramp, wasn't they?
Oh, yeah.
Waiting on them fireworks.
It was going to be crazy there at the boat ramp. It was for sure. And they had a great show with
That was
fireworks,
a
man.
good show.
It lasted probably the longest I've ever seen a fireworks show. So that was really cool to see on that. But so then we spent the night and we went again Sunday morning. That was probably one of the hotter days I thought that we went. And so then we stayed out to probably 10:45, give or take, on Sunday. I felt like this, with the sun was beating down on us and getting a little sunburn, my wife and myself too. And at that point, we're just going to give it our best shot to try to catch some more fish. But it kind of slowed down there fish wise, I thought.
I think
Sunday
what
morning.
it was, we just, they seen that bait 4 days in a row from us, and there ain't no telling who else has fished. I mean, one thing about these lakes now, used to everybody say, I got a secret hole. Nobody knows about it. They ain't no secret holes. They ain't ever. You think you got a hole that nobody else knows? You wait. You may not be. You may have come up on it at the right time and nobody fished it, but there's somebody else fished it later in the day or something. And all them little holes down through there is community holes. Anywhere down through there where we're staying at, right there at South Saudi, on that river, on the river barge side, you see all them boats. They're just, I mean, I've caught fish everywhere them boats is at, but it's just because they know what everybody knows, that's a good spot down through there.
That's a good lead-in for my next questions I have for you. So how long do fish stay in the area before they move on somewhere else?
I don't know. You know what I mean? That's a good question. I'd say long as the bait stays there, they're going to stay there as long as they want to. Now, with the bait moves, a lot of times they move with the bait. They'll move up and down that river channel right down through there. And so what day was it? It was Saturday morning when we didn't start at that one spot, but when we come back, we started on the river channel side, and there was all kinds of bait there. Well, see, that bait will move from one side to the other, and that's where the fish will be. Wherever you see bait at, they fish. I mean,
that's what I learned.
That's where the fish is going to be. If you're over at Chester Frost and you see a lot of minnows running in the water, there's fish there. Right. Because the fish are going to follow the minnows.
That's one thing that I was trying to watch and see is, as we pull up to a spot, I would look and see out there and see try to find those the bait fish, and sure enough, we were seeing them. So I was trying to learn is to find the bait, and if they're there, like you said, then we're gonna find them. I went Sunday night, so I got home. I went and I saw the minnows at Chester Frost. I saw them, and I didn't catch anything that night, but I saw the bait. So I thought, okay.
Was there any fish jumping?
I didn't see any fish jumping there, Randy. Okay. It was a very quiet night out there. Just wasn't much going on. But I got home and I was like, okay, I want to get back out there and I'm going to try to find something.
That's all you can do is go and try it. Right. I mean, they probably was some fish there, and they probably been fished a little bit, and and it all depends on sometimes the timing of it. I mean, catching. I've caught them early and I've caught them late, but I seem like I do better on top water, like a frog or some type of top water. I mean, I know everybody's got their own preference. I do better early, not from say 7:30 to 10 o'clock. That's the prime time. And I mean, I've caught them later, but that's usually the prime time I catch them on that, when it's starting to get warm. And I mean, you've seen even at hot at that part of the day, they'll hit it. If they're moving water, they'll hit it. But if they're not moving water, that's when I've seen they feed it more right where we're at. I've caught better fish.
Yeah, that's very true on that. Our fish a deep or shallow right now, Randy?
I think they're deep, and they come up and like we call them. They they go out deep, and then they'll come up on them shallow humps where grass is, and they'll feed, and that's where we was catching them. They's coming up feeding. We got them at the right time. I mean, if I didn't want to put too much on y'all learning since y'all first, if we'd had a, I mean, if you, maybe the next few times we go and we do that, if they ain't doing that, we'll go out there closer to the deeper water and pick up a deeper diving crankbait and throw that a little bit and throw a bigger worm with a heavier weight to let it get down. Because I think that's what they do. Sometimes they get down after they feed, they'll go down and to that deeper water and just sit there and just relax like we do sometimes.
All right. And I feel like that's what that's kind of what we saw is at times, they were just kind of, sitting down low, it seemed like, and they weren't biting anything. And I felt like it's kind of like you said, is they were just they're down there and some aren't biting at the moment. It's kind of what it seemed like there.
Yeah. And what people do a lot of times, and I've never done it. I've watched people do it on YouTube and everything else. When you hear them, they say they found them schooled up deep. They'll find them schooled up deep on the depth finders, and they'll start throwing first like a big deep diving crankbait. They'll try to throw it and throw it in the middle of it to wake them up and get them active. And I mean, if you start throwing a few things down in there, showing them what you got, they'll come out and start hitting it.
Yeah, that's a good idea. It's just kind of get them moving and kind of wake them up, like you said.
Yeah.
That's what you kind of got to do to get them going. What about if it's cloudy, bite better, or if it's sunny, can they see see better?
I mean, I don't think it like we was down there. You noticed the sunny hot when it was bright sunny days. I've always was told on a bright sunny day throw something with a white, like on top water, and that's what we done better on that white color frog. And anything white, and even that one frog I was throwing with a white belly, they done better. They say whenever it's cloudy and not as cloudy and stuff, throw a darker color. That's what I've always done, and it seems like it's always worked. And I noticed that because we had them on that. You throw that white, they'd hit that white, and then if I tried to pick up a black and throw a black colored frog or something, they didn't want it. They didn't want it. So I mean, that makes me think. Yeah, I've heard that white, sunshiny day, white, even chartreuse color. A white or a chartreuse green color would be good in that type of day. But I just always done better on white.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised there, but that white is kind of what I learned was, they kind of keep an eye on if it's bright, then you toss the whites out there, and they're kind of picky, fish out there. Like if they don't want it, they're not going to mess with it at all. And that's definitely one thing I did learn over the weekend was you just got to try something different. If it's not working, then you just got to change it up.
You just got to change up. And that's what I done. I think it might have been yesterday. Whenever y'all was throwing that frog, I picked up a Cinco, what you call a Cinco. It's just a long, skinny worm, and it black and blue. No, it's black and green. And I threw it over, and I got a bite on it. Remember, I had a bite on it, and that's what. And I thought I was throwing it weightless because it was in that grass where it kind of sink down there. Because if you put too much of a weight in there and you throw in that grass, it'll stay hung up. And that's what I've learned too. Sometimes you can pick up something like that. You remember Whisper was talking about take you a bit, not Whisper. That's the guy I used to work with. Casper was talking about take a big old giant worm, weightless, and throw it over next to the dock and work it off. That's a good way to catch fish. And that's kind of what I was doing. But I wasn't using a 10-inch worm. I was using a 7-inch worm, and I was using a Cinco. But what he's saying is a good way to catch them in that grass. Just don't put no weight on there and just throw it over. And I heard one old angler say one time, and his name Roland Martin. I ain't afraid. He's got a lot of wisdom. He said, if you ever have them blow up on like any type of top water, frog, spook, and they miss it, he said, have you a Cinco tied on right behind it and throw right over. He said, a lot of times they'll hit that Cinco right after they do that. And I didn't get a chance to do that because after they hit it, you just don't want to pick it up. You don't. I don't think about laying it down. I just want to keep throwing what I'm throwing.
All right. So I went Sunday and I took one of these a Strike King worms with a no weight on it, and I was trying to work that. So I had my frog, I had my worm, I had my other type of worm that had the weight on it. So I was trying, but I'm trying to get better at maybe just trying to be more patient and not change too much. With you, I know kind of wanting to try this and try that. Yeah, from you.
Yeah. I changed a lot. I changed a lot. And my dad always say, "Why are you changing? You already getting bites on that." I'm like, "Well, I just seems they'll hit something else." But I mean,
I think it's okay to change stuff around a little bit. Yeah, just try it, and then because you don't want to spend much time trying to catch something if not biting it. So I'm all for trying to change it up and try something different.
And I mean, I've noticed here in the past 10, 15 years, I mean, there's three colors that I throw a lot in worms. And I throw a green, and I throw a black and blue, and I throw a watermelon. That's the three worms. But it seems like when it gets hot in the sun like it is, I do better on a black and blue, and I do throw a plum, but it's almost like a black and blue, a plum color worm. And that next time you go over and you got that frog, see if you got any black and blue worms or purple, or even plum color worms, and throw it over there too. Because I know I've caught a lot of fish doing that this time of year. One of my bigger fish come off of it was a jing bug red. It's only jing bug is almost that jing bug was almost to me looked almost dark black, but I'm colorblind, so it's hard to tell sometimes.
So let's talk about some frogs a little bit. So I saw I saw kind of what you have. So how many frogs do you think you have, Randy?
I don't know. I mean, I'll say I got 40 or 50 frogs in that boat. Yeah. I know that one box, I bet you I had 20 frogs all just stacked on top of it. And I had two different, I'm trying to keep them separated. What you call my walking frogs and my popping frogs and my flapping frogs. I try to keep them separated where I know which one's which, but it always ends up I may change from one to another and I don't put it back in the same box. I'll put it in that other box, but I bet you I got 40 or 50 frogs.
I didn't know, but I feel like I was kind of guessing. But you have a well stocked up boat full of lure, which is good because you need to have a little bit of everything. But I really didn't know. You just kept pulling it out, and I'm thinking, man, I mean, you got it going on with all your lure, which is great. With also, all the years of fishing, you're gonna find some, get some, whatnot.
Yeah, I mean that's just 40 plus years. I mean, 30 plus years of just a community. Getting bait here, buying this and buying that. And I mean, some of them lures, and there ain't no telling how old they are. And some of them are new, but some of them are still pretty. I mean, some of them pretty old. I've took a lot of the older ones out because I've tried to keep them up. They're down there. They're up there at my dad's in one of his boxes. I mean, we got some baits in there, probably over some old devil horses in there, probably over. My dad's 80. I bet you he's been 50 years old or more. But I mean, it's just stuff we accumulate over time. I mean, and I just try to, and I mean, I took a lot out. I've got a lot down here in the storage box that I try to keep labeled for like the next time I go, I'll say, okay, I'm going to take the frogs. I'll have frogs already. I usually keep frogs and square bills and buzz baits and plastic worms mostly all the time in the boat. And say the next time I go, I might grab some deep diving crankbaits. I don't think I got any in there. So I'll go down here in one of my boxes and I'll find the deep diving crankbaits and I'll put them in there and take something out. Or I get where I couldn't even open a compartment because I had so much storage. I mean, had so much not storage, so much spots for bait. Somebody might say, "Well, you might not all be buying all that stuff all the time," but I like to buy.
Oh yeah, I mean you gotta get some every now and then.
She was over here. I said that because my wife was in there, and she's like, "Yep."
I mean, it's always good to to find it and get it and whatnot,
Yeah.
whether it's at a store or whether it's at a yard sale or whatnot,
Yeah.
polls, and you just find stuff all over the place. You just never know when you're gonna get it.
Well, last year she come home with like 4 or 5 reels and a whole bunch of bait, and I'm like, and she told me what she paid for it. And I'm like, that's goodbye. And now you tell me I got all this stuff. Now you just brought on more. Keep it coming. Keep it coming.
Oh yeah, keep it coming, keep it coming. I like it. Let's talk about some fishing line. So, do you like the a yellow or the clear or the kind of rough? Yes, I was curious on that, Randy.
I like throwing yellow because I can see it. But when I throw a frog, because it's on top water anyway, I try to throw that green color because it kind of don't. But that because I think they'll see that yellow line on a frog. But I mean, I throw a yellow a lot because more or less now because I can see it. And if I don't throw yellow, I throw a clear color, fluorescent line, not fluorescent, fluorocarbon line. But on my braid, I like the green.
Okay, right. Okay. Let's talk about some poles a little bit. So we got the bait caster here, Andy. Okay, there. So got the bait casters out there. So what is your favorite kind of reel to throw?
Right now, I'll be honest with you. Out of all of them I've been throwing, that Casting King it's been a pretty smooth for the price, a pretty smooth reel, and it casts real good. I mean, if you get it set right, you don't hardly have a backlash. And I mean, I use it a lot, and I got a dial, 2 or 3 Daiwas that I like, and I got an Ambassador that I like. But probably right now, for the price of the buying one, I really like that. Casting King has come a long way with their reels, and they're not. And like I said, they're pretty affordable. I mean, I think I gave $40 for that one, and something like that for that other one. And I mean, and they got 6 or 7 ball bearings. And I mean, that's what you want to go by. The more ball bearings, they say the smoother the reel is. So, I mean, I've got some in there. That one I was throwing, and I'll tell you, I had it tied on there. It was a Ambassador Revo, and it had 11 ball bearings. But I'll tell you what, I could just about, I think I can cast better with that Casting King.
Right. Yep. That's what I was using there this past weekend, and I went from being couldn't even cast it out there very well, and it'd get knotted up by Sunday. I was able to cast that thing out there, and it was able to go a long ways. It really felt good to go from being, from day one to having a hard time with it and getting knotted up to by Sunday. You got me taught up on how to throw it. It was awesome.
I told you last week when you said about bringing rods. I said, don't bring one none. I said, I'm gonna have you throwing a bait caster for it's over with. And I said, I got plenty of rods for Kate. I mean,
and that's what. Yep, and so that's what I came home with. I came home with a bait caster for all those watching. So I got to come home with one. So that was a really that was pretty cool on my end there to get that, Randy. So I want to say thank you again for giving me that. And I put it to use that I came on that put it to use that night. So that was really cool on my end.
I'm glad. I mean, like I said, I've got so many in there, and I mean, I use it, but sometimes it sits there, and I thought, you're enjoying it. You ain't got one. I'm gonna get you hooked. And that's why I thought, well, it ain't gonna hurt me to lose a rod.
Right, it's pretty safe to say, Randy. You got me hooked. I'm wanting to go all I can, and it's just fun to get out there. It's just fun to get out there and just have fun with it. It's the key part. Might not go out there. You might not catch much or nothing, but if you go out there with friends and family,
that's the main thing. Go out there, have friends. You catch some fish. If you do, it makes it even better. But if you don't, I mean, it's just the enjoyment of being around people and fellowshipping with other people and getting to know other people. And that's what I like.
Right. That's a good way to sum it up right there. Summertime lures, should they be bigger or smaller, Randy?
I'd say smaller. But I mean, everybody, I mean, I do better with smaller baits in summertime. I finesse them more, what you call finessing. But I do know a lot of people will throw them bigger baits, and which they may not only catch one or two fish, but usually the one or two fish they catch are better fish. So I guess it all depends on, and I mean, I've caught big fish on small baits, so I'd say right now a smaller bait would be better.
Gotcha. So let's talk about the oh, of water temperature. So the fish does that kind of get them all kind of messed up a little bit if it's warmer water, or is it not really matter?
It does. That's why when it warms up, you'll see they'll usually go out deeper more because they're trying to look for that different. Say we was in 3 to 6 foot of water where we was at, and the water temperature was 83 degrees, 83 to 85 degrees. That's pretty warm. But you go probably out there, and if you could have a thermometer to drop it down there, probably 10 foot, it's probably going to be about 3 degrees cooler. So if you're in the middle, if they go down there and sometimes you can pull up on a thing and see them at 30 foot on your depth finders, you'll see little dots. So you can just imagine if you drop down 10 foot, if it's 3 degrees, just imagine if you drop down 30 feet, it's probably maybe 10 degrees cooler, maybe. I'm just speculating, but I'm thinking that's what I'm thinking because of cooler. You think about when we go swimming anymore, if you go down a little deeper in the water's always a little bit cooler.
Yeah, I was surprised that it was that warm of water. I didn't know what to expect there, and it sounds pretty cool that on the boat that you can see how you can see what it is. So that's a pretty cool feature you got there on the boat.
Yeah, and you noticed up there where we fishing at, the water was pretty clear too.
Yeah, you can see right through there.
You can see pretty good, and I mean, a lot of that's got to do with the grass that comes in there because the grass takes a lot of that mud out of it and it keeps the water clear.
Yeah, that was a lot of grass down there. I didn't expect that. From somebody up here my way, I don't really see all that type of grass.
No,
it goes on for miles and miles. It seemed like, and I feel like the fish
there's
really
all
get
kinds
in
of
there.
grass down there. You got coontail, you got milfoil, you got hydrilla, you got cattails, lily pads. We seen a little bit of everything.
Yeah, that's for sure. So that's I feel like it's all good for fishing, and I feel like it all builds up, and that's why it's a great lake down there to fish, and it's why everybody's wanting to go because of stuff like that. Let's see here. So then we also found a life jacket there in the water there, Randy. We found a nice.
Nice. That's almost like a brand new one. I mean, what was it? We pulled up there and I thought, is that a log floating there? Because the way it was looking, then we got to looking, it was a life jacket. It probably that night before, that was 4th of July, and I say there's a lot of we seen a lot of boats, and they probably was out there cruising around to different places watching the fireworks because South Saudi, where we stayed at, South Saudi Resort, they had a fireworks show, and it was big. You looked across the river, right up the river there, 5 miles maybe. Goose Pond had a big show. I think Grant, Alabama is right across the river from us. That looked like they had a show, and probably we seen one right after y'all left. Looked like down there called Little River Marina. They looked like there was some fireworks coming from down there, and they probably had a fireworks show. So I mean, I'd say when they laid it out, and it was kind of dark, and they didn't see it blow out.
Yeah, that's probably so. And so if you get that out of the water, which is good to get that out, or any kind of like trash or anything like that.
I try not to. I try to see if I see something floating around like that. I try to pick it up, take it out. If I don't use it, throw it away, throw it in garbage can or whatever.
Yeah, it's always definitely good to get it all picked up. So do fish all that noise of the fireworks? Is it
I
kind
don't
of
know.
getting spooked?
I've wondered that myself. I mean, I've fished. Me and my dad used to fish a tournament when we worked at Allied Signal Bendix. A lot of them guys fished, and they like to fish at night. they all wanted to fish at night. Now I used to love to fish at night, and I still like it, but I just can't see like I used to. So that's one reason why I don't. But they'd have it, they'd have an all nighter, what they call all nighter, from 7 to 7, and it was always on 4th of July weekend and Labor Day weekend. And buddy, we caught fish when the fireworks were going off. I mean, but you be up there on watch bar and you could just look around, see fireworks everywhere, booming everywhere. And it was kind of fun to see that. But I don't think it bothers them. It would bother the ones that's up shallow. A lot of times and it just all depends on what time they feed. So.
Right. Yeah, that's very true there. With the feeding times, it just depends what time they're going to come up to feed and whatnot. And I was thinking that it probably wouldn't affect them, but I was curious on my kind of what you thought there.
I don't think it does. Yeah, but I do know this, which I think it's got a lot to do with the pressure of the air and stuff. I've never caught fish when it's thundering. But or lightning, but I have, but I have caught them when it fireworks, but I think it's different because the thunder and lightning is going to make the air pressure and everything else, barometric pressure change, and that's probably why they're not biting when it's thunder. I've heard people say they caught them in the thunder. I've never had no luck in thunder. Yeah. Now when it lightning, my butt ain't going to be on the water. I'm going to be somewhere else.
Yeah, you got to get out of the water in that situation for sure. You don't want to be out there in that. But with the rain or whatnot, this fish might bite better in the rain. Some might say. Or
I've caught them in a little bit of a rain. If it's just a good drizzling rain, I've caught them. I think sometimes they bite good like that on a drizzling rain because it cools down the water.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. That's very true on that. You got anything else, Randy, for the show?
No, if I was going to go right now, again, and I ain't going to get to go this weekend, but probably I'm hoping the next weekend, I would go and throw a frog, some top of water early in the mornings. And then once it gets done, start going out, maybe venture into a bigger worm. And go big worm. But I enjoyed it, and I'm glad y'all got to come down. Me and my wife we both enjoyed it. We had a blast.
It was a great time on my end for sure, and you have to come back again, hopefully soon. Get some more plans together, and we'll have to head back down and see you again.
Yeah, y'all have to come back down. We enjoyed it. The dogs enjoyed it. The dogs got to get petted by somebody else other than us.
Oh yeah, the dogs definitely loved it. And that one night, that one dog did not care for the fireworks.
Hank don't like the fireworks. He don't like the fireworks, but Merle, it didn't bother him. He don't care. But Hank, he don't like fireworks. But yeah, but yeah, y'all have to come back. I'll try to show y'all something else, use some other technique to use or something like that. But I enjoyed it. I'm glad y'all got to come. I'm glad anytime we're away from work and you're getting to have fun doing something. I love fishing. I love fishing. Anytime I get to do that and I get to share what little bit of knowledge I got with somebody, I enjoy it.
Yeah, I definitely got to get down there and kind of see what you do and learn a lot. And I feel like I came back home with more knowledge than I went with, and I'm able to put forward what I did learn from you, Randy, and to keep it going. And you're going to fish all I can coming up, these next couple of weeks and months and whatnot, and always just try to get the hang of it and get a little better, each time I go out.
Yeah, that's the main thing. Just learn something there, and and even like at work, somebody says something one time. What we do at work, machinist. I learn something new every day. Sometimes machining on stuff, and that's the same way with fishing. Sometimes I learn something new, and that's what I'm going to try to learn to use this urgent bait, the spiky ball or whatever. You got me one, and I got another one, and I'm going to order some more from my wife's cousin. He makes some, but I'm the main thing is trying to figure out how the best way to hook it in the grass. Because, you know, I tried to throw it and it stayed hooked up. I'm going to try to find a way to do it where it's weedless. I believe if I could find a way it's weedless and throw it in there, you know, they seen that worm and they don't see that much. And they say that it's just something new they like. And that's what I'm going to try.
Gotcha. Yeah, it'd be cool to see you all hooked up there because it's a great bait. So it'd be cool to see it you know, hooked up in a way that can catch fish without getting caught in the grass.
Yeah. And there's a way I know people doing it. And that's what that's my next thing to learn.
All right, I got one last thought before I shut it down. This is for Casper. If you tuned in, listening there, Casper. So I got home Sunday night, and I chose to go fishing over watching NASCAR on Sunday night, Chicagoland. I wanted to bring it up on the show, but we shut it down. 100%. The race was coming on, and I was walking out the door to go to Chester Frost to sling some bait. So
you are hooked. You're gonna say I ain't watching the NASCAR no more. I'm gonna go fishing.
Hey, that's what happened there, Randy. You got me hooked, and I'm gonna. Yeah, it was pretty funny. It was about to start, and I was shutting the door. I was heading out, getting in the truck.
That's funny. That's funny.
So it happens, but that's how that went down.
I can see Casper now. Oh Lord.
Yep, he'll probably let me know about that for sure on that.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm gonna shut it down. Thanks for being tuned in, everybody. Like, share, and subscribe if you would on the YouTube. You can find us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. You can follow us on Facebook where I put out all the pictures and all the reels. Thanks for coming on, Randy.
Thank you for letting me be on, Dwat.
That being said, we'll see you in the next one.